Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while. I know it has been crazy couple of weeks for me. Well, long story short, I got a job. It actually feels surreal that I'm even saying this out loud because if you've seen any of my previous videos, then I've been looking for a job for more than half a year, and honestly, I was really depressed even though I didn't really show it in my videos. And now I finally got the job. So I wanted to kind of sit down and break down my personal job searching journey because I figure many of you guys are curious. So hopefully this can help those who are in the same boat. So first, I want to give you guys a little quick backstory. I am from Korea, and before coming to the Netherlands, I worked at a small office in Korea so I could taste a bit of corporate life. Then in 2021, I came to the Netherlands for school where I studied media studies.
와우, Amsterdam.
어사이먼트 하나를 제출을 해야 되는데 힘드네요. And for my last semester, I did a 6-month internship. Then I fulfilled all my credits at the end of June. Once I completed my credits and registered for my degree, I immediately started looking for a job. Another job interview in 10 minutes. And honestly, back then I didn't really think that it would be this hard and challenging. Yeah, and I mentioned it in another video, but I want to mention it once again because it's very, very important. If you're looking for a job in the Netherlands, you really need at least one or ideally more of these three things. First, a good networking system, some people who can hook you up with interviews and vouch for you. Second, good level of Dutch. Third, relevant work experience. I think without at least one of these, it'll be really, really tough to land a job here. So, about what I went through, I initially got some help from the network I built during my internship. For example, they set me up with a couple of interviews, or they passed my CV along to their HR friends. Yeah, I was super grateful, but it didn't quite work out at the end. Main reason was because I didn't have enough work experience. And yeah, I also think that it's actually really harsh that recent graduates are expected to have at least 1 or 2 years of work experience. But honestly, that just really shows how competitive the job market is right now. So if you're in a similar situation, maybe consider doing a couple more internships before you diving straight into the job market. Maybe half a year or 1 year or even more. I think it'll help in the long run. And about Dutch. If you have at least 1 year of time before diving into the job market, I really recommend to learn Dutch. I would say more than 50% of the rejections I got was because I don't speak Dutch. Some companies literally told me in their email that they really like my experience, they like my CV, but they can hire someone who doesn't speak Dutch. At the end of the day, I got a job without having to speak Dutch, and there are a lot of international companies where it's not required. But it's also true that knowing a certain level of Dutch really gonna increase the chances of you getting hired. So if you have the time, really consider learning Dutch. Next, to give you guys a bit of timeline of my job searching journey, I had maybe 3 or 4 interviews in the first 2 months. I even made it to the final round for two of them where I was super close to getting an offer. Guys, I have another interview today. It's this company I actually really want to work at. So I really want to do a great job. I'm so nervous. But yeah, at the very last minute or at the very last round, they rejected me. And yeah, it was honestly heartbreaking because I had such high hopes for them and I ended up blaming myself a lot. But please don't blame yourself like I did if you don't get a job that you had high hopes for. It's just that the job market is really competitive and tough right now. If something doesn't work out, it just wasn't meant for you. And trust me, you will eventually find something that suits you even better. And at the end of the day, you only need one yes. So after 4 or 5 months of job hunting, I actually got a job in November. And I actually also talked about how excited and grateful I was in another video. Another good news is that I got a job and I think I can learn a lot working there. But yeah, things didn't turn out the way I hoped. First of all, the commute was insane. It took me 2 hours one way. So I was spending 4 hours commuting back and forth. And with all the train cancellations and delays, you know how the public transportation is here. So, it was honestly hell. And secondly, well, I don't want to talk badly about anything, but let's just say the work environment wasn't great. So within 2 weeks, I made a decision to quit, and it was very, very hard decision to make, especially after I spent so much time and energy looking for a job. But deep down, I had a gut feeling that if I stayed any longer, I would be super miserable and unhappy. And honestly, timing couldn't have been any better because around that time, DJ and I were finally moving into the new home. And as you guys know already, we had to do everything from the scratch, like installing floor, getting all the furnitures, building all the furnitures, stuff like that. So in a way, I was very relieved that I didn't have to work during that time. It let us get everything done so much faster than we expected. And around New Year's, when I was writing down all of my New Year's resolutions, as I always do, I decided to set clear criteria for my future job search based on the lessons I learned, and I came up with 4 big categories. Number one, location. How far is the company from where I live? Is the commute reasonable? Number two, work environment. The overall vibe I get during the interviews, what my coworkers are like. Number three, salary. Yes, money. And also other additional benefits. Number four, relevance. Is this a job really something I want to do? I know relevance might seem like the most important factor when job hunting, but in my opinion, I think you have to make some kind of compromises, and that's why I also apply for positions that weren't exactly my dream jobs but still could pay my bills. So in the end, with these 4 categories, I made a rule for myself. I'll take a job as long as it meets at least 2 out of 4 criteria. So for example, if a job close to my home and has a good salary, I'll take it, even if the work environment isn't so great and it's not my dream job. Or if the work environment is great and is something that I'm super passionate about, then I'll also take it, even if the commute might be a bit longer and salary isn't great. So you get the idea. I think setting these boundaries really helped me focus and make better decisions in job search. In January, I had several interviews for both full-time position but also internship positions, but none of them quite worked out. But this time I wasn't as sad because after the interview I also realized myself they didn't really fit in the criteria I had set for myself. And meanwhile, I got a job at the restaurant, which honestly made me feel a bit more at ease. I think just active working itself gives me some sense of comfort and independency, like at least I'm doing something and I'm not being completely useless. Well, that's just how I felt. And finally, the job I got. Well, to be honest, it really came out of nowhere. I applied through Indeed without expecting much because it wasn't a position I had super strong background in. But then I got invited for the first interview and it actually went pretty well. But at the end, they told me they're gonna let me know whether I'm gonna be invited for the second interview or not because they have several other candidates. And usually, that's when I get rejected because I know there are so many people out there who have much stronger experiences and CV than myself. But surprisingly, I got invited for the second interview. And when I visited their office for the second interview, like there was nothing super special about it, but I could really tell that I would be very productive in this office area. It was neat, open, good vibe. So yeah, already work environment was checked. And the second interview felt slightly casual than the first interview. And I had this gut feeling that they really wanted me. Yeah, and then the next week, I got the offer. Yeah, even though I kind of expected that it would happen, but yeah, once I really got the email from them, it was like dreaming. I was so happy, and it checked at least two of my criteria. So, honestly, really no brainer for me. So, yeah, now I've been working there for a couple of weeks, and honestly, I have no complaint. Of course, my body had to get used to the new routines, like waking up early, being in the train in the rush hour, sitting in the office all day and staring at the monitor all day. But overall, I'm really, really happy. And yeah, obviously, everyone goes through their own unique job searching experience. But I just hope that this video can give you a bit of sneak peek of my own job searching journey and maybe even some motivation if you are looking for a job right now. And I'm so excited stepping into the new chapter of my life. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions about job searching or life in the Netherlands, please feel free to drop them in the comments. I'll try my best to answer all of them and help you out as much as I can. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.